Have you ever wondered how you change a community's future? It's not always with some huge, grand gesture. Sometimes it starts with something as simple as a classroom. Today, we're going to dive into the incredible story of Shaheed Benazir Bhutto University and how it completely transformed a region by bringing education right to people's front doors. You know, this quote from the university's vice chancellor, it's not just a nice motto they put on a website. It's the whole reason this place exists. It's the answer to the question, why here? The goal was simple, but so powerful. Use education to make things better. That's a huge vision, right? But big, world-changing ideas don't just appear out of nowhere. They start small. They start with practical steps. So let's get down to it. Where did this whole journey really kick off for the people of Upper Deer? Okay, so the story really starts with a map and a pretty obvious problem. It's a story that was born from a simple but really significant gap in who had access to education in a place called Upper Deer. Let's rewind the clock to 2001. Here's the situation. The University of Malakand opens up in the Lower Deer district. That was awesome for them, a huge leap forward. But for their neighbors in Upper Deer, a university education was still something you had to travel far away for. It created this clear educational divide. But then 2002 rolled around. And that was the year that this gap, this divide, could no longer be ignored. It was the moment someone decided, okay, we have to do something about this. We have to bridge that gap. And boom, a directive comes down from the governor of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The plan? To set up a sub-campus of Malakand University right there in Sheringal. This wasn't just talk, it was official action. It was the first concrete step to bring higher learning to the people who needed it most. Okay, but a directive is really just a piece of paper, isn't it? To turn that piece of paper into a real, breathing place of learning, well, you need people. You need pioneers who are willing to roll up their sleeves and lay the very first bricks. And that's exactly who stepped up. A small, dedicated team took on this massive challenge. They laid the groundwork, starting with just one department. And, fittingly for this mountainous region, that first department was Forestry. But this is a huge deal. This wasn't just about building a campus. It was about tearing down barriers that were centuries old. Ms. Kashtil and Ms. Ahmad weren't just teachers. They were absolute trailblazers. I mean, think about that for a second. They were the first women in the entire history of Deer Upper to bring university education to the area. Incredible. So those pioneering efforts, they lit a fire. See, a subcampus was never the final destination. It was just the seed that was planted for something way bigger. And that journey, well, it took 7 years. It all started in 2002 as that small subcampus. And for the next 7 years, it grew, it developed, and it proved it was ready for more. Then, in 2009, came the moment everyone had been working towards. It was officially chartered as its own full-fledged university. And just like that, it was official. A presidential order on October 6, 2009, made it happen. Shaheed Benazir Bhutto University was born. That small subcampus had finally grown up. So, what happens when a little subcampus with just one department becomes a full-blown university? Well, you get an absolute explosion of growth, of knowledge, and of opportunity. I mean, the transformation was just staggering. Think of it like this. What started as that one little seed, that single department of forestry, grew into this massive tree with deep roots and countless branches, nourishing the whole region. And those branches? We're talking over 20 different departments. Just look at this list. Computer science, pharmacy, law, social work. This wasn't just about adding more classes. It was creating a whole universe of possibilities that this region had just never had access to before. So this entire story of growth, from spotting a need to that explosion of learning, it's all pointing in one direction, towards the future. And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? Back to that core mission we started with. The whole point isn't just to hand out degrees. It's to prepare students for a rapidly changing global environment. It's a promise to build skills so that graduates from Upper Deer can compete and thrive, not just at home, but anywhere in the world. So how do they actually pull that off? Well, it boils down to 3 core promises. First, give people a quality education that actually matters in the real world. Second, make sure it's affordable so that money is never the reason someone can't learn. And third, create a focused, disciplined place where students can really thrive. You know, the story of SBBU is just such a powerful reminder of what's possible. It began by filling a gap and grew into this incredible engine of opportunity. It leaves us with a final, really important question to think about. What happens when we stop asking people to leave their homes to get an education, and instead we bring that education home to them?